I'd like to thank you guys all for waiting tonight. It's past my bedtime. I don't know about yours. We're really excited about what we were able to accomplish tonight. From when I first came here and we laid out our plan, a couple of our goals obviously were to accumulate assets and to draft skilled young players, and we feel like we were able to accomplish both of those goals tonight. So we're really excited the way the draft played out, and at this time I'll open it up for your questions.
How you doing, Travis? Terrell Thomas. What actually went into your decision to pick up Trey tonight, pick up Trae Young, obviously due to trade with Dallas, and how do you feel he'll impact the Hawks immediately?
Well, again, as I just mentioned, two of our goals in the next few years here are to accumulate as many assets as we can and to get as much talent as we can. Luka's a heck of a player. We're happy with him. Trey's a heck of a player, and obviously we're excited to have him. And when the opportunity came to pick up a first-round pick from the Mavericks, it just kind of made sense to accomplish both goals with one move.
Hey, Travis, to your left, Anthony Amy with WSB. At what point did you know for certain that Trae Young was going to be your guy at the position in which you
About
took him?
7:15.
7:15 tonight?
Yeah.
I mean, during the entire pre-draft process, though, was there a point where you decided, okay, this is the guy we want to focus in on, or was it all just fluid all the way through that 7:15 point?
Yeah, it was very fluid. We had lots of different dialogues. We would have been extremely happy with Luka. We're obviously extremely excited about Trey, but that deal didn't come together probably till about 7:15 tonight. So.
How you doing, Travis? Brandon Leak, SportsX. Question about Trae Young. What do you think he needs to do physically his first year and over the course of time for him to be a complete player? And also, what are your thoughts on the triumvirate of shooters that you just drafted a few minutes ago?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it'd be great if Trey drew 6 inches by the time he gets here Monday, but no. I think for Trey, the biggest thing is he just needs to get stronger. He's got great quickness, good quickness, above average quickness. But what makes his quickness great is his ability to rise up from 30, 35 feet. So you have to get out there and respect that. He's got great hesitation moves. He uses his head very well, very deceptive. So from a physical standpoint, I think just adding strength, I think everything else is okay on the physical side. And as far as the shooting, as I mentioned from day one when I got here, we're looking for skilled players. When you look at the league today, you need guys out on the floor that can shoot, that can dribble, that can pass. All three of these guys can shoot. Even Spellman for a big can put the ball on the floor, pump fake, and get by his defender. And then the first two guys, obviously Trey, who led the country in assists, and then Kevin is a good ball handler for a wing player. So we're looking for multi-dimensional players that can play the way we want to play, up and down, and exciting brand of basketball.
Travis, I know from the outside a lot of people looked at Luka as potentially the best player in the draft, and maybe, I don't know, comparing the upsides of the two players at all. But did you view this trade as a risk at all, like some other people did, or did you view the two players sort of on the same level?
I mean, listen, they're both, to us, when you looked at both players, they were both the best two playmakers in the draft. And being able to make other people better with their passing ability, what they can both do in pick and rolls, they were both extremely intriguing. In all honesty, our group was really, really split between the two. It certainly wasn't clear cut, but getting the asset, and we're extremely excited about Trey, have been all year long. So I think it was a combination of both things, being able to accomplish both goals, get an asset and get a guy that we're extremely excited about.
Over here, Coach. How you doing? Edwin Powell. How you doing? At 19, you guys went with Kevin Porter. I know he had a hand issue and you guys still pulled the trigger. You guys obviously still liked him. Talk about the dynamic that he brings to this team.
Yeah, Kevin, as I mentioned earlier, is a 6'7" wing player. He's got a really high basketball IQ. He can really shoot the ball. I believe he was 42% last year at Maryland. He can put the ball on the floor. He moves well without the ball, coming off screens. I think, passing ability, he brings that to the table as well. His injury is not a big deal at all. He just had a tendon on the outside of his hand, so he'll be out for 3 months, but he'll be ready to go at start of camp, and we're excited to have him.
Anything about your Golden State background, did that play into anything at all? There were so many comparisons for Trae Young, and even the big guy. You could certainly say that he fits the model of the Golden State plan.
Yeah, I mean, the way we drafted there, as I've said, is how we're going to draft here, as far as versatile, skilled players and high character guys, and then that's, there's probably going to be similarities, hopefully, if I'm here for a long time.
William McCray. About 10 years ago, we had the third draft pick and got Al Horford, went to the playoffs for about 10 years. Was that a similar strategy for tonight to kind of on as you all are rebuilding, or did that come into your decision process at all?
No, it really didn't come into our decision process about what happened, 11 years ago in the draft here. I still had a full head of hair back then, so lots changed.
Travis, Wes Blankenship from WXIA. You mentioned the assets and the players that you're picking up immediately. When you're weighing those two options between the players that are right there in front of you right now versus the assets in years to come in future drafts, where do you strike that balance, and how do you decide, we're just going to load up on the future and hopefully pick up more players then?
Yeah, we got people back there a lot smarter than me that I say, hey, we can get this pick or take this guy, and they push it in their computer and they tell me if that's a good deal or a bad deal. So we let them do their job. But, with the last pick this year, 34, we did trade out of that to pick up 2 future seconds. Again, accumulating the assets. With the first pick, obviously we got a guy we're extremely excited about, and we're able to pick up a first pick. I'm sure the protection's already out there, everything else is, but it's got good protection, favorable protection for us. So we feel good about our opportunities maybe to have 3 first-round draft picks again next year. As you guys know, we have the Cleveland pick, now we have the Dallas pick, and we have our own pick. So we feel like it's a chance for us to be real active in next year's draft as well.
Brad Roll, Peachtree Hoops. There seems to be some defensive questions with Trae and Amari in particular. What do you see about those two guys on that end of the floor?
Well, we had Trae in here for his workout, and that's one of the things we talked to him about, and he doesn't hide from it. He goes, listen, I need to do it. We've watched a lot of film on him going back to his AAU days and stuff, and he's capable. He's actually got good lateral speed. So he's capable, and he doesn't hide from it. And then Amari, he's a firecracker, man. I know you guys watch Villanova games. He's emotional. He's passionate. He will protect the rim. He's not scared. He's physical. He'll come over, and he can rebound. I think his rebound numbers were a little down at Villanova because they switched so much. When you watch them play, he's out on the perimeter a lot because every pick and roll and a lot of screening situations they'd switch. But we're excited, and we're gonna get him out there and get him to shoot a lot of threes and hopefully get some stops too, I guess.
I know it's still kind of early, but how do you see Trae Young fitting in with Dennis Schroeder, or do you see a future for Dennis Schroeder, or can you answer that?
Yeah, no, I think both guys can play together. When you look at the way, especially the league's played, you'll see 2 point guards on the floor a lot. So I don't think that's an issue. With Dennis in particular, we want to put as many shooters around him as possible. So the floor space, so he can do what he does best, get to the rim. And likewise with Trae. Trae's got the ability to run pick and rolls and get in the lane. So when you look at the guys we added tonight and the guys on our roster that can shoot the ball, we're trying to space the floor and get as many ball handlers and playmakers as we can. So I think they'll be able to play together.
Over here.
Hi there, Jay Clemens, 11 Alive. Something happened odd tonight where on ESPN they reported the trade before the third pick, but it was contingent on Memphis not taking, the guy at number 5. Do you have to communicate with the Memphis team to kind of get a sense of who they're going to take so the trade can go through?
For the past month, we've been communicating with every team, and we were pretty certain we knew who they're going to take, and they ended up taking the kid we thought they were going to take. But the trade was contingent on our guy being there at 5, so had something happened and trade would have went 4, we wouldn't have gone through with the trade.
Were you nervous at all?
No, I was pretty confident Memphis was going to take Jackson.
Do you have the years on the 2 second-rounders that you've acquired?
19 and 23.
At number 3, you did have the chance to take a couple of bigs who ended up going right after that. Why the decision to go small instead of big there?
We just had those 2 guys a little bit higher in our rankings. Again, I think some of that comes back to, just my preferences. I've said it 100 times tonight, we're looking for guys that can play on the floor and make plays for others. And when you look at this draft, those 2 guys were the 2 guys that kind of stood out, being able to create for others and pass the ball and try to make others better.
You noted that you drafted these 3 players with a mind towards a certain offensive style. You've got a new head coach. Did you also draft them with a mind towards a certain defensive style of play?
Well, as we pointed out earlier, that's a question mark for these guys. No, no.
A certain style of play.
Yeah, no. Listen, the one thing Coach Pierce has made clear from the beginning is, we're gonna be a defensive team. So if you're not going to give him effort on defense, whatever style he may choose, he's going to take you out of the game. Like he's going to make these guys defend to be out there. Looking at what they did at Philadelphia, I think you'll see a lot of switching. They did a lot of switching, a lot of pressuring, getting out, and we were going to try to play fast, get up and down the court.
2 more, please. Have you talked to Coach Pierce tonight? And if so, how excited is he?
He was sitting right next to me the whole time, so he's very excited. We said before the draft started, if you'd have told us we'd have ended up with these guys without having to move all over the place, we'd have been ecstatic, so we were happy.
Brandon Leak, last question.
Coach, what did you think about what you have in conjunction with what you got last year? You had Tyler Dorsey and you had John Collins. Now you have these young players. What do you think you have right now? And then also for you, picking at number 3, picking that high in the lottery, or that high up front, usually those are the perennial all-stars. Those are the guys that end up being Hall of Famers typically. What was that like for you to really put your stamp and your mold on some guys, or a guy that could be the guy that could turn the franchise around?
Yeah, being chosen that high in the lottery comes a lot of pressure for guys. There's been guys that have been chosen that high who have been really good had NBA careers, but haven't lived up to their draft stocks. So there's a lot of pressure on those kids, and we tried to choose someone who's we feel like is going to live up to that, and we have a lot of confidence in Trey's ability to play and perform at a high level. So we're very excited about it. What was the second part of your question? Yeah, when you look at what we did last year, at 19, we took the best available player we thought on the board. We did that again this year. It's just last year happened to be John. This year it was Kevin. And when you look at Tyler last year, when we drafted him at 41, I believe, we were looking for a guy who could space the floor. And, Tyler, again, another guy who shot over 40% from 3 in college. So, there's similarities were what we were looking for characteristically from last year and this year, and those will continue to be what you'll see next year and years to come from us.